Simona, thank you so much for being on Can't Shovel Hurricanes. Now, I've already said this to you a couple of times, but like, you have no idea how much of a celeb you are, specifically in my household. And nobody's going to believe that you're here in front of me doing a podcast. Now, you're a cult-like following within our space. I have a guys group, a bunch of guys from Toronto.
Yeah.
And I sent them your profile yesterday, said, guess who's going to be on the podcast?
Oh my God, thank you.
One of them said, I think she lives in Canada. I'm like, no, that's absolutely false. And
Canada. Why Canada?
Look, when you were out in internet space, when you're on social media,
people just assume the craziest shit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the only reason that, like, I followed you way, way, way before, but the way I really wanted to have you on the podcast is because you did a reel about moving down here and how everybody comes down and wants you to, like, go out and party and get bottle service and do this and do that. And you're like, shit's pretty normal here. Like, I live here now, and you moved from New York all the way down here. And it's like an overwhelming majority of the audience that's down here did the same pilgrimage as you did. I don't care about your reasons, but I want to hear about your journey.
So originally the first post I ever did was actually, there was a sound that was trending on TikTok. And it was about how we moved here and we're like, we're not going anywhere. That was how it all started. And I had a private account. So fast forward, we moved here. What was the question?
How long, first of all, have you been here?
3 years.
3 years?
We moved here October 2020.
Oh, so you did this kind of just pre-COVID, or was it just starting out?
I did it. I started it March. We moved to October. I started this March.
Oh, man. So you were like ahead of the game from everybody else. For us, we did it like mid-COVID when we started the whole thing.
This is like kind of mid-COVID. I mean, kind of.
Right. Where were you from specifically?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is where more specifically?
Brighton Beach. Not originally. I didn't grow up in Brighton Beach.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Staten Island.
What's the difference between the two?
It's a difference. This is a difference. We moved to Staten Island I was born in America, number one, which people always are like, wow, you're born in America. You speak Russian so well. I read in Russian too.
Really?
But I can't write for shit. I don't know. I'll read the texts that they send me. Sometimes people WhatsApp me or whatever. They DM me in Russian. I'll read it, but I can't write. I have the keyboard, but I don't write it.
So how'd you do that? Your parents teach you?
My grandmother, when I was 5 years old, I remember. My grandmother was really amazing because she taught me everything. She'd say, a person has to know everything. I just did that. I tapped. My bad.
It's okay.
A person has to know everything. You have to know how to sew. You have to know how to cook. You have to know how to knit. And everybody's like, are you Amish? Like, I don't need to go to the cleaners to sew on buttons. I could do this. So sewing, beading, necklaces, all this like crap. You know, one of the things was Russian. She sat down. She's like, так, I'm telling you Russian.
Нету лишний язык.
She goes, так, садись, будем читать. And I was like, what? You know, I was barely learning to read English. I was like 5 years old. It's not like now you have to be in Harvard at 2. It was different back then. You didn't have to know how to take the SATs at 5. It was okay. So she sat down, showed me a few letters. I guess it was just right in the moment, and then I was able to read.
Did you speak to her in Russian?
I only spoke. First of all, my parents came in 79. I was born in 80.
Where from?
Kiev.
Okay.
So they immigrated here, and my mother's been here all these years. My mother's a pharmacist. She refuses to speak English still.
What?
It's crazy.
You can get away with that?
Yeah, when you live in Brooklyn, you could get away with it, sure.
Really?
Yeah. It's so fun. My mother's like, whenever I would say something in English, she would just be like, я не понимаю.
Wait.
I don't get it.
You can function your whole life in a professional setting like a pharmacist in Brooklyn.
Sir, straight business. Yes.
All Russian?
No, they don't care. She just like was around her people. That's it. Have you been to New York?
Yeah, I've been. So this is the thing.
You ever hear of Little Italy?
Yeah, of course.
Chinatown?
Yeah.
You ever hear of Little Odessa?
Yes.
That's Brighton Beach. You really don't need to speak English to get by.
Right. You know, I never think of it like that because we have all these little places.
I know, but it's like Canada, so it's like everyone has to speak English.
Yeah, and not only that, it's so much smaller when it comes to scale. So you don't have that concentration.
Because you guys have those like American, like English, like Canadians speaking English that are like, I'm sorry, what, you know, they don't, we don't have that. They don't, if you don't get it, then go back to another neighborhood.
Well, in Canada, let's say if somebody wanted to have a conversation in French, which is the second official language, you have to be able to provide them service. Sounds to me like if you're walking around Brighton Beach and you need, I don't know, a Z-Pack or something like that, and mama doesn't know how to say it in English, then
it's Brighton Beach. If you need Z-Pack, you don't even need a prescription. It's like it's Brighton Beach.
I don't know what that means, but I want to hear more.
You just need you just need to know the right people. Like, you know, one of my first things when I moved here to Florida was like, all right, I got to get my connections in order. I got to make sure I bring everybody the right liquor, candy, perfume, money. You know what Geschäfte means?
Of course.
So that's what I was thinking right away. I was like, all right, I got to get my envelopes together. I need the right connections. Because if at 2 a.m. my daughter's fevering, what am I going to do at fucking Publix and wait? Hey, Wendy, I don't have a prescription, but I'm not going to do that shit.
That's exactly what I do.
That's because it's like,
can you get away with that stuff here?
Just American. You can't.
I'm not American, although I'm jockeying to be one. No, I get what you're saying. Look.
You got to you know what I mean? You got to have your people.
I'm trying to figure out my people. I think that's part of
I just came here and I see that there's no people here. You can't have people here. Boca has no people. I'm scared. I hope I don't catch a cough like while on this podcast because I'll never even be able to get a vitamin until Monday morning.
Where are you in South Florida?
I'm in Hollandale.
Do you have your people there?
Yeah.
Or do you have to trek all the way down to
I'll be honest,
Sunny Isles?
this account was such a blessing because I met a lot of amazing, wonderful people that, you know, blessed me like in a lot of ways. They can, you know, I connected them, they connected me. It's like one hand washes the other. It's been nice.
If it wasn't for the ITSSMEOG account, I would have never connected with you.
I'm so happy you said it's MEOG.
Why?
Because I was in the mall and everyone's like, hey, MEOG. I'm like,
no. It's pretty straightforward.
I'm like, it's MEOG, but it's not like OG, like original gangster.
Oh, no?
No.
So what's it stand for?
It's ITSS Simona, me, Olivia, and Gabby, my kids.
Oh, I would have never guessed. I totally thought it's MEOG.
I did that on purpose. But let me tell you, my husband's Vlad, right? His name is Vlad. And I always say this, like, everyone's like, oh, but there's no, right, because that would have been me, Vag. So I was like, he has to stay out of it, otherwise we're like a venereal disease. So I was like, I can't do that.
How do I introduce you to the audience? Are you a comedian, stand-up comedian, an influencer?
No, I don't know.
What are you going to do when you grow up?
I don't know. I don't think I'll, you know, what is that that poem? What's his name? Oh my God, he did the college speech. I always remember him. He's like, when you're when you get older, you weren't that fat, or
I think I heard something about it. Might have been Jim Carrey that pops into mind, but I can't.
No. This was a guy, I forgot. I think he's an author.
Okay.
And he did, and it kind of reminds me of me because like I still don't know. So I have a double master's in education, special ed and general ed, concentration autism. I'm not working here. Now, I guess a content creator, I don't know. I just make people laugh.
What possessed you and started you in
I used to do stand-up.
Okay.
I did it
in New York.
Yeah, I performed like Caroline's. I had a few gigs in like Long Island. I used to do, you know, I just like amateur night. But you know, comedy is like really dark, and comedians are just the darkest people. Like it was so weird. One night I came in, I forgot where I was, somewhere in the city. I feel like saying Laugh Factory, but I don't even remember if that's in LA or New York. I don't even remember now. But in any event,
did you perform in LA as well?
No, I didn't. But I feel like I saw a Laugh Factory there. I could be wrong. I don't even know. But I was in New York doing amateur night, and it was really late. So sometimes you come in late, like nobody cares about you. Who am I? Nobody, right? So homeless people are sitting there just to get warm. I'm tapping. It's fucked up. Sorry. So homeless people are sitting there just to keep warm. They really don't give a shit what I'm saying. But I'm doing my thing, my little whatever spiel was about no-fault offices or some other shit making fun of Brooklyn, whatever. And I go to the back, and I had like another gig to do. Sorry. And there was just like this one comedian. I used to see him all the time. He used to go in and just like throw a few, you know,
sets,
do a few sets, whatever. So I don't know. I got really nervous just doing the set, and I ended up like bending over and like stretching. And he's like, "Wow, I want to get in. And I was like, what? I was like, what? So there's a lot of women, right? But back then, like, not during amateur night, there wasn't like so many women back there.
Okay.
So it gets like creepy because some of them are so, what's funny.
Oh, so he's like legitimately saying, I want to get in. Like,
yeah, like I thought he was like saying a set. And then I was like, wait. Yeah. And I was like, whoa. And I started to feel like, then I realized I was like, I'm not going to go late. Going late was no good because I was like, all the creepy.
What'd your husband think about all
I wasn't married back then.
Okay.
But my husband's like relaxed about everything.
Still, that's pretty creepy.
It was like creepy. So I stopped going late. So amateur night becomes hard because, you get what you get and you don't get upset about your time slot because you're nobody. So you're just coming in to like, hey, you're lucky if you could catch a mic here and there. I haven't done it here, but I'm thinking about it.
What are you thinking about? Why
like
you're hilarious.
I'm being like a vagina about it.
Yeah, okay. Well, then you could put the V in the it's me or G. But why would you?
No, I shouldn't
not
say that because vaginas are strong and resilient.
Yeah.
I'm being like, I don't know. I'm worried. I don't know.
But what?
I don't know. I've been like having some, fear of failure, I guess, in a way.
You have 41,000 followers
I know,
just
but
on
that's like
Instagram
a niche.
alone.
Yeah, but
what do you mean? Imagine you put all those people in a room. You don't realize how many people that is?
No, I definitely want to do it. You know what? I definitely want to do it. I've been to like a few amateur nights here. I have a friend who does some stand up here. I want to see him and how I know there's definitely like a market here for it.
Of course. It's got like 25 million people in Florida alone, but I mean, South Florida's packed.
No, I should definitely do it just because you want to get better and practice.
What is your ultimate
I've
goal?
had like moments. I don't know. I don't really know yet. I don't know that I even want to stick with doing just Russian speaking, like comedy.
Have you experimented with anything else?
Not really. I mean, like I did this one character, like a Staten Island character, but it wasn't really relatable to some people from LA that I spoke to. They really didn't understand. I was like, well, you're rich and you never lived in a building, obviously.
Are you trying to capture a specific audience?
No, I just do what feels good.
Well, that's exactly what it does.
I don't focus on where I'm going or what I could get out of it. But whatever I do get out of it and whoever I do meet, I'm just really grateful for it.
The impact that you have is something you probably wouldn't understand. And I could speak to the specifics because a couple of years ago within my family, we went through like a really, really difficult time when my dad was ill and stuff like that. And we would throw around your videos as comic relief in our family group chat. And then we would kind of act them out with our version of it. And like that kind of stuff, you don't realize once you put it out there how impactful. Like when you have a dark cloud that you're going through and you get a couple of glimpses and moments when somebody's legitimately making you laugh. Now, for you, it's also incredibly relatable to my family because a lot of the stuff that you put out there, I've lived or living, and I could totally understand it. Plus, when you switch languages, right? Like I'm not native to Russia. I've never set foot in Russia, in fact. But my parents forced me to speak the language.
Right.
And it's become very helpful for me on many levels, culturally understanding a different group of people, being able to speak to another group of people that I would have never expected. I make a really good spy. Like I don't have an accent, right? So
no, you don't. I don't think I have an accent either.
Well, no, you got an accent, but your accent isn't like a Russian accent.
Right.
You're New York to the bone. There's that stuff's never going to leave you. I met people who've been here for 30 years from New York, and you could tell right away they're from New York. That shit does not leave you.
Something about New York is the best is that you're always proud to be from New York.
And yet you're here.
And yet I'm here, but you're always proud to be from New York. And that'll be the first thing, that's the first thing that people claim. That's like your territory to the bone, regardless of where you are.
So you're New York to the bone.
Yeah.
Brighton Beach to the bone?
Nah.
No?
Easy. No.
No?
No. No. I didn't grow up there. I mean, I really didn't. And I didn't want to raise my kids there either.
Why?
I just didn't. It was just, it changed a lot.
In what way?
It just changed a lot. I don't know, even the last 10, 15 years since I originally moved there. I think I moved there in 2004, I think, or 5. It just changed a lot. I don't know. I don't know.
Is that what brought you down here?
Yeah, I guess. I was coming out of the house, homeless people, just shitting right there in the subway.
Legit?
Yeah, there's a Chase Bank right where I was living on the corner. There was people just straight up like a whole wardrobe. You know, listen, it's a struggle for people, but just the vibe, it was just too crime ridden. I don't know, it just wasn't it for me anymore.
How old are your kids?
5 and 7.
So they're tiny, right?
They're small, yeah.
And you moved here 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So they don't know much about, especially your 5-year-old doesn't remember.
Let me tell you, my kids will claim New York first.
Really?
Yeah.
Even the one that left when they were
Please,
2?
my son will be the first one to be like, oh, I'm from New York. I'm like, bro, you were born like yesterday. What are you? I'm from New York. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, Gabriel, what? I don't understand what. No, Mom. You know what it is. I'm from New York. We're from Brooklyn. I'm like, are we? Okay.
Did you have a place down here before you decided to move? Is it Florida was like a semi-destination?
No, not at all. Let me tell you, I knew Sunny Isles, like, I didn't know it at all. I just knew everybody went there, whatever. We probably came here on vacation like once. Because Miami's expensive to vacation.
Sure.
Right? So if we're going on vacation, I'm going to the islands, best believe I'm doing it all inclusive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to come here.
Sure.
First of all, there's one thing about me, and anybody knows, I don't fly without my kids at all.
Makes sense.
So if I'm going with kids, I need to have breakfast, lunch, dinner. Everything has to be in order.
Of course, I get
I'm
it.
going to be taking my kids to Poppy Steak. I mean, we're going to be popping bottles of Marriott on my kids. So we didn't really vacation here like that. We came here like once. It was nice, whatever. I always liked it, and I did always see myself living here for some reason. Maybe that's manifestation. I always saw myself living here. There was a thing that I used to feel whenever the wheels would touch down, my mood would just get better. Just the palm trees made it better. Even sitting here telling you, I'm like, I've been moody about it lately. Like, I miss certain elements about, you're always going to miss certain elements of where you grew up and how you live, like New York. It's just like nothing like it.
But is that nostalgia?
It's just nostalgia, and it's old New York. It's like saying, oh, I love old school hip hop.
What you mean old New York?
Just the way I remember New York and the way New York, first of all, I don't go out. I haven't been to the city in like 4 years. I haven't been out like that, so I don't know. But it was just, I don't know, it's just the whole vibe. I don't know.
You smile when you're saying it.
Yeah.
But you're here.
You know what? New Yorkers are like a different kind of people. Like,
sounds to me like people from Brighton Beach are different.
No, it's not Brighton. I'm just, no. Not Brighton. I mean like New York. You're talking, Brighton is, no. It's just a neighborhood. I get, it's not that. It's just, I don't know, they just go hard. Like New York just goes hard.
Yeah, look, there is the common thing I hear about people when it comes to business in my little speck of the world here in Boca is watch out for what some people have referred to as the Boca Shuffle. And I'm like, what does that mean? They're like, listen, tread carefully when you're doing business, and especially when you're doing business with New Yorkers.
I mean, they're sharks.
Yeah, so that's
okay,
kind of like,
so
no, but I don't.
Good.
Yeah, the difference
I
is,
think Floridians are worse. How about that?
well, what's a Floridian? Someone that was
Because
born here?
you know what the difference is? I realized something about it. Floridians hate New Yorkers. You know what it is? At least New York will say it to your face. If they're going to cut your throat, they might even do it right in front of you.
Yeah.
Ear to ear. Floridians are like, calm down. Turn around. Nice and slow. Boom. This is like with renovating. I've noticed this. I just had closets done in my house. Oh, don't worry. We'll be there 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Central? What does that even mean, 9 a.m.? It's 1 p.m., sir. So I call. Okay, calm down. Don't tell me to calm down, because that's how New York is. I paid you. You didn't wait for my money. So come show up and, that's it. It's just the right thing. You don't have to be late. It's respect. Like, I wouldn't show up late because I respect you. Right. It's in my opinion. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I know plenty of New Yorkers that are late. But I'm just saying, here, it's like, oh, just calm down. There was traffic. Right, because you left your house 40 minutes later than you should have. So naturally, and then all the bridges want to open. And then the Winn-Dixie wants to play too much. So, of course, it's going to take you a long time to come here. When you get that train, the one that never ends.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one to get caught behind. Especially when you're in a rush. You fuck around, you find out. And then you end up leaving late. And then that train that wants to carry cargo for all 50 states. And I'm just, so I'm never getting there today. And then they want to be like, I don't know what happened. I know what happened.
Did they eventually finish your closet?
You don't give a fuck. That's what happened. Maybe if you gave a shit more, what happened? I already paid you. So now you never have to come back. Look, I got handles. They came late to, for the closets.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. My kid is just going to have to figure it out now. Because he already built the closet. So you think he's going to come back for these fakakta handles? It's not happening. I already called him 3 times. He's like, okay, don't worry.
Wait, you already paid in full?
Yeah, he's like, Senora, don't worry. It's going to be good. I'm like, oh, of course it's going to be good. Of course, my son's going to be sitting there picking it with his fingers, wedging his little tiny fingers, just try to get each drawer open. It's going to be good because it's a wrap. Those handles are never being put on.
You paid in full?
Everything but the handles from Amazon, because Amazon wants to deliver shit that I don't need immediately, but the one thing that I needed tomorrow by 10 p.m. I was like, oh, okay, great. And he just happened to, and it just didn't come in time.
And you're telling me
that
wouldn't go down in New York?
Look at the text message I wrote to her. I said, listen, I'm not going to wait months for these handles now. You understand? Like, it's hard. You have to open all 7 drawers to get to the top.
You want to tell me this wouldn't go down in New York?
I don't think so, not to this extent.
Well, I have the same story, but it has to do with
like, I know everybody with renovations here. Like, a lot of people struggled.
Yeah, but that's across the board. That happens across the board in a lot of places. I do agree with you that it is bad here. Like, really, really bad. I run into the same stuff on my place. I know exactly what you're saying, but everybody, like, because I'm so new, you're also so new. Like, you've got a couple of years on me. I think by that time I'll have my people. But everybody says that you have to create your network and you got to kiss a lot of frogs here and you have to be really careful. So if it's not a direct referral, don't touch it.
No, this was a direct referral.
Yeah?
Straight, my neighbor, this guy gave me, he's like, this guy did. No, it's a good job. Whatever, it was a good job. It's fine. But
it's an incomplete job.
I mean, everything complete, but now that the handles came in late.
All right.
It's like,
I have to explain the Boca Shuffle. So people say watch out for New Yorkers. But the New Yorkers I think that they're referring to are the ones that are transient. Because there's a lot of people specifically, and I don't think this is just attributed to New York. So let me, I don't want to be ripping on New York. Because if you would have asked me pre-COVID where I would have moved to in the United States, it would have been hands down New York. My wife and I love going to New York. We love being in the city. We like going to Brighton Beach.
You want to live in Brighton, though.
No?
No, I told you that before.
I probably not live there. I mean,
no,
but
you're just too suburban.
I'm too probably.
Look at that bang is like perfectly waved over to the side. You know,
I'm probably a Long Island kind of guy.
Yeah, you're 5 towns.
5 towns?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
That's Long Island, but that's where you are.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It just seems like it's the longest island in the world because everyone I meet here is from Long Island.
Yeah.
So, when
I could see that here.
When you talk to them, people say like it's the Boca Shuffle because people are transient, New Yorkers specifically. So they said, watch out when you're doing business with them. I have already encountered, a couple of situations with New Yorkers, but I think you hit it dead on. With New Yorkers, at least you know what you're going to get. They tell you to
if you're going to get shit, you're going to get shit to your face.
Yeah, there's none of this like pussyfooting playing around.
And they're okay to say no.
Yeah.
I love how when like Floridians say no. No, I understand. What do you understand? Just say it.
Do you speak Spanish?
No, but by the way, where I live, like, if you don't, that's another thing.
Yeah, I know. This is why we chose.
No, I don't. I'm terrible at learning languages. I'm like the worst.
Are you kidding me? You just told me you picked up a language your grandmother taught you.
Yeah, but no.
So it's Russian and English.
Because I was born speaking in the house. I'm terrible with, but my kids are learning Spanish in school.
Yeah, it's critical here, right?
Of course.
Because you're in Miami-Dade, right? Are you in Miami-Dade?
No, I'm in Broward. Oh, I'm in Broward.
Yeah, you're in Broward. Oh, okay, still. Because everybody says that, like, once you hit that cross the Miami-Dade border.
No, Broward, the same thing.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, so I know it's very critical here. I definitely want my kids to learn how to speak Spanish.
Yes.
It's critical.
I think in general it's good to know. Do your kids speak Russian?
No. My mother-in-law speaks to them a little bit. My mom speaks to the kids in Hebrew.
Oh, nice.
Another
language here. It's very
but I'm in a bubble. Like I'm in.
Oh, there's a lot of Israelis.
Yeah, but there's two types of Israelis here, and I'm not that other one. Right now, I was born in Israel. I moved from Israel when I was 8 to Canada, and then raised in Canada. Moved here, 9 months ago, and now
Because if I didn't know you, I would think your name was like Al. You give Al vibes.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I think you look like somebody I know named Al.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he's from
Good
Staten
looking guy,
Island.
right?
No, good looking guy.
Oh!
For sure good looking, but you look like him. I don't know why. You even remind me of him.
So you're like hardcore New York. Like you're gonna be New York to the bone, right?
I mean, I was born there.
Yeah, but I mean you're gonna be like an old babushka here that's gonna be like in her 90s and still repping her Yankees hat. I guarantee.
I already told my husband, I was like, I don't know if this was like forever. Maybe when it gets better.
What does better mean? Why'd you leave?
I don't know. Well, it was during COVID, and the kids were like arrested sitting at home because I was like so paranoid, spraying Lysol in my husband's eyeballs. I wasn't sure how.
So
severe
COVID
it
was what lit the fuse for you guys?
For me, it was COVID originally because they were legit. It was just a ghost town. I mean, you guys had
it was the
same thing, right? So it was like a ghost town. I started getting like really depressed about it. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like no fresh air, and then they're growing, they're little, and they need to be outside and just for quality of life in the beginning. And then everybody started saying, like, New York's going to shit, New York's going to shit. And usually, like, I'm one of those people, I hear what you're saying, I'm listening to it, but I'm not necessarily taking it for face value. I then take it in, analyze it. I don't Google things, I go with my gut. That's me. I'm like big on intuition. My gut tells me this is something I should explore. I'm going to just go with that. With very little research. Just based on conversations I heard and just the sort of climate of New York at that point, where education was headed. And again, no arguments here. I definitely think that overall schools are better in New York. But that being said, I figured this would be the better move.
From a safety perspective, I know you mentioned quality of life, but what does that mean?
Well, number one, I wasn't happy living on Brighton. I didn't grow up on Brighton Beach, so I didn't want to raise my kids there.
Okay. You were saying it got pretty
It's just
nasty.
the quality of Brighton is gross. I don't care. I said what I said.
Right.
And I didn't want to raise my kids there. Then, as you know, not that it's any better in Broward County necessarily, but where I was living in New York, I don't know if Canada's like this, the way you're zoned, school zones, how you're zoned, what school you're zoned for. My kids were zoned for like the worst schools. What? Here I am living in like a nice condo, closed, gated community, but everything outside of that community, straight nasty. Disgusting.
Wait, is that in New York or here?
No, in New York.
Okay.
In New York.
Okay.
So they were zoned for bad schools, just not good quality, just in general. Like the whole vibe was off.
So you'd have to move anyways, is what you're saying.
Right. And my husband, I was like, all right. I came home like, Vladi, what do you want to do? Because I grew up in Staten Island. And he's like, I'm going to move to Staten Island. Staten Island's terrible. I'm like, why? It's just bad. I'm like, well, I'm never moving there. I'm like, okay.
Where's he from?
My husband is from Luna Park. Oh, you don't know.
No, what's Luna Park?
If you don't
My dog's
know,
name's Luna.
now you know.
Now I know. Luna Park. Is that a rough area? Is that
I don't know.
Is that where God said when he made the rest of the earth?
Yeah, it's when God made the Russian projects, he made Luna Park.
He started at Luna Park. I got
The Russian PJs. That's what it is. I mean, that's how I look at it. I don't know. It's terrible. I don't know. He lives
Still
there.
that bad?
I can't even take the elevator over there by myself. It gives me like super creeps. It looks like Rape Row. I can't with those open hallways. First of all, if it's winter outside and you're coming out to throw out the garbage, bundle up. Why do I have to be outside? I live in an apartment, let's say, hypothetical. You're living in an apartment. You got to open the door to throw out the garbage. You get blown away. She lives on the high floor. It's freaky. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Luna Park.
Luna Park.
All right, so he's from
But anyway,
Luna
he's
Park.
from there, and he wanted to stay. And for my husband, just in general, like he's more of like a Brooklyn. That's like his area, whatever. He didn't want to move to Long Island. He just is not like a suburban person.
He's a city guy.
I mean, yeah, just he likes his Brooklyn vibe, and I get it. That's fine. But he was cool with giving it a chance. 6 months. That was the window. We ended up. So COVID happened, and we ended up going upstate New York, just like the country, living in like, I'm not even kidding, like a bungalow the whole summer, best summer of our lives. All of our friends did it. My friends, really, but it was super cool. It's just the best summer. It was all the Israelis, Russians, barbecue. It was so good. I'm not even kidding. Like, I lived in such a nasty bungalow. There was like mushrooms coming out of the sink. I was like, what is that, penicillin? But it was, when I tell you, so much fun. The kids were outdoors the whole time, just chilling. Like, I was like Little House on the Prairie. It was like, how did you do? But I could rough it like that. I don't care. I'm not spoiled
Living
like
in a
that.
bungalow isn't roughing it.
It's roughing it.
Bungalow?
Oh,
House?
You're not from New York. Okay. You want to Google and see what that looks like?
No, I don't, but I know what bungalows are like.
No. When we got there was chipmunk shit in the pillowcases. Talk to me nice.
All right. So you might
She was like, it's a good bungalow, the lady I rented from. She's like, it's good. It's one of the better ones. I was like, all right, Diane. So this was, all right, let me tell you. Back in the day, Monticello, White Lake, all the like Jews used to go. They still do, but now religious with the, black hats. They go there now, so we're done. They don't even consider us Jewish, so I can't go there anymore. But I'm talking about like the American Jews, Russian Jews, Israeli, like all. This was like a big Jewish thing back Catskills.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay?
the Catskill Mountains?
Yes, that was like a big thing.
Okay.
These bungalows, by the way, you're going to get visitors. You get a mouse. This is not.
Is this a neighborhood or is this like a cottage?
You're thinking of like, the cottages on the lake in Canada. Stop right there.
Okay.
This is not it. This is not come down economy-wise like 90%. Okay? Let's come all the way down. It's cheap, but it's great. It's that fresh air you smell. We were just talking about it. We miss it.
So your husband.
So we did that. We did that. And then from there, that summer, we were discussing what's next. Because I was like, I don't want to go back to Brooklyn. I just don't. Now, COVID is like full on happening. It was just, I'm like, Vladi, like, what are we going to do? We're going to go back and sit in the house again? You know what I mean? And I was like, everybody's talking about Florida. Like, everybody's hyping it up. What's up? Let's give it a shot. I'm like, 6 months. Just give it 6 months. First I said a year. And he's like, no, 6 months. This is ridiculous. 6 months. Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm like, okay.
3 years later.
What? 1 month in, he comes home. He went to like a Cuban spot, got a tape up with the white pencil around his face. I was like, bro, I said we're giving it a shot. What the hell is this? I was like, who did you hear? Oh, he's like, I went to the Cuban spot. After I just had empanadas, I was like, Vladi, what is going on? And then he's wearing those cloud sneakers in Lululemon. I'm like, sir, who are you? That was quick. I was like, I was just giving it a try.
So that was his statement saying.
Nah, he took it in real. So he's really easygoing. My husband, he's very easygoing.
So
it's me. I'm the bike with no seat, all up in that ass. He's easy. My husband's easy. He's easy.
There's so many directions. I want to be able to extend this podcast at least 12 more hours because
I'm sorry. You know what? I do that. I think I maybe like it's undiagnosed ADD. I don't know.
No, do what?
I feel like there's so much we could touch on.
There's so much, but the way you're presenting it, and if you don't do stand up, I will text you once a week, breaking your balls.
I don't know where to begin. You know what? I text this one guy
in the beginning.
No, but I don't even know. You need to know somebody to get time.
What to get time? To get stand-up time?
Yeah.
I promise you, I'll be your quasi-agent and I'll get you time. I'll make a couple of calls just to get you
I tell
on.
people time, like, yo, get me an agent. Make me.
I don't want to be an agent.
Money. I don't need nothing. Just get me to a point because I always tell people, like, I'm more art than business. I'm not business.
I have no business
I have no
interest
idea. When it comes to business, it's just not me. I'm not a business.
And I don't agree with that. I had this conversation with my wife. We're actually here on a visa. I'm a dependent to my wife in the autism space. She's like, I'm not a business person. If she could, she would be giving away her service to everybody. In fact, she was for many years in Canada, but it wasn't something that we needed to depend on. But when it comes down to reality, everybody's business because everybody respects their own time. And we're not selling for money. We're selling our time. And then there's a medium of exchange.
I always feel weird to ask for what I want. And I've seen other people do it, and I'm like, wow, that's great. But when it comes to asking for what I want, I get shy about it.
Because you don't feel like you're worth it.
There is, that too.
And that's bullshit.
No, like, Yeah, I get really self-conscious.
You know what? Let me tell you something.
Really
I should have never
self-conscious.
gotten to you this easy. I shouldn't, like, you are super creative. You are super incredible. I'm sitting here talking to you. You're making me laugh my ass off. And this is just you. You're just riffing. You're just talking about you. Everybody needs to be exposed to stuff like that. Yeah, you picked your little niche in the world with people in the Russian space, but you're not talking Russian to me now.
No,
and you're
I'm
making
funnier.
Me laugh.
Believe it or not, I'm actually funnier in English.
But I can believe it. I see it. What I'm saying
but
is,
also being canceled is another thing. That's the thing that I concern myself with, because it's so easy to get canceled. It's almost like so tricky
what you
to
mean
be
by
funny.
being canceled?
You could
Saying
say
something
one
that's-
like, look, I
yeah.
said to you, you're like, why don't you do stand up? I'm like, oh, I'm being like a vagina about it. This is like an old school thing. I really shouldn't have said that. But now I'm thinking to myself, oh, there is a feminist that follows me somewhere out there that just got offended and probably will ultimately DM me and say, that is offensive. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Hold on a sec.
comedy now, you have to be, like, I don't know how to explain
Are
it.
you more
Dave
worried
Chappelle is my favorite comedian.
All right.
Right? He could say whatever he wants.
No, you can't.
But
Nobody
he
can.
does.
No. I'm
Like did you go to his stand up? He was here. Did you see
no,
him?
but I mean, there's some stuff that obviously I don't agree with what he is, but I also agree more people being able to say whatever they want and then accepting the reality of what might come back afterwards.
It's true, and I have a thick skin. Like, I'm really sensitive, but when it comes to this, I don't care. I'm not even gonna tussle with you. I'll fucking block you and we'll call it a day. This bitch yesterday hit me up. What did you do to your lips? What did I do to my lips? Nothing. I didn't get nothing. I put lipstick on. So to her, they appeared bigger. So she had to immediately message me. So maybe she thought I was gonna dance with her and do it. And I was like, don't play with me. Like, just don't play with me. I don't care. I'm not gonna do it. I've gotten so many nasty I've gotten it all. Like, you know, I got it. I don't care. I don't get offended. I really, really don't, because that's not my issue. It's not really getting offended. It's almost like offending others is a concern in a way. So I think that ends up being something that inhibits me from, like, you know what I mean?
All right, look.
And comedy's tricky because you want to say everything.
No. I'm going back to this cancel thing. Some of it obviously intuitively has to do with COVID. You're in Florida because you can speak more freely about things like that, because not everybody's walking on eggshells here like they do in Canada, where you really are worried about getting canceled because you don't know what a boy or a girl is anymore, and you don't know what to say to anybody because you're afraid to offend everybody, and you have to give it a preamble. I'm not an anti-Semite. I'm not a racist. I'm not a misogynist. I'm not a sexist. You're a human being.
It's
with
hard
an opinion.
being a white man these days, huh?
I don't think it's hard at all. I think that people they've become afraid, and they need to stop being afraid, because if you're not a hater, you're not an asshole, you're not a person with evil intent, you may say something that may offend somebody, and then you apologize like
I
you
know.
said
And it's
before.
crazy because according to TikTok, like, with everything that comes into my feed, at this point, I feel like I'm a lesbian with ADHD. I never even know. I'm like, why am I getting all this lesbian content? I'm like, is she cute? I can't even, because...
Okay, I do want to hit that. You know why? Because you're getting confused. Now imagine that kind of information go to our kids. And I'm not going to get...
Oh, my kids are not getting social media.
My kids, I will fight that off. And
what? They're not getting social media. No way.
What age are you going to give it to them?
I mean, listen, they're going to sneak around and do what they do. But no, I don't know. I can't really say that because I don't have kids that age yet. But I mean, and I know, and I don't judge anybody that does it, but I know it's hard. But no.
I think what happens is that most parents think the same way.
Like, my kid plays Roblox. There's enough shit on there too. They'll like comment and my son's like really innocent. He's like a really good heart. He's really innocent.
Is
really
that
innocent.
you're older or younger?
My son is older. My daughter's really sassy.
Sassy?
Yeah.
Like her mom?
Yeah, but I'm like afraid of her sometimes. She like...
Already?
Yo, listen, she tells me she wears some shoes to school and she's like, so-and-so said she doesn't like my shoes. And I always say that girl's really cute. And I'm like, okay, so whatever. She doesn't like... Oh, whatever. She's your favorite though, right? She's your favorite. She's the one you think is so cute. She's so cute, but she doesn't like my shoes. We were driving home. I was so insulted and offended. I was like, this is such a hard ride home. I'm like, Olivia, enough. You're taking me out of my element. The way she speaks, she's 5, but when people meet her, it's funny. She really doesn't come across like she's 5.
What are you going to do when she's 15?
I'm already like really worried because she does this thing with her hair. She puts it to the touch. She's like, I want to be a cool girl. And I'm over here like, I'm an old mom, going to be a young grandma.
Were you like her at her age?
No. I was more like a tomboy.
There's something I got to ask you. I got to go back to this canceled, not trying stand-up thing. You're telling me.
Yeah, I'm scared to like fully be myself because
aren't you, you should be more afraid of not trying than being
should.
canceled.
I tell my kids all the time, we have this conversation.
And yet you're not modeling that for them?
I should be. It's slowly it's happening.
What is it should?
Well, the other thing, like I said, I don't really... I know I gotta do it. Like, I don't know.
You're gonna do it.
All right, I'll do it. All right, I'll do it. Yeah, I really want to do it,
right.
and I haven't done it.
All right, 3 months from now, I'm gonna put you back on the podcast.
No, I want to do it like next week.
All right, good.
I'm very like extreme, so either I'm afraid or I'm doing it right now today.
All right, good. And I promise that I will make good on what I say, and I'm gonna reach out to a couple of people to see if I can get you on, because I think you're gonna absolutely kill it.
Okay, let's do it.
So. Now you are a New Yorker living in Sunny Isles. Clearly,
no, I don't live in Sunny Isles.
So it's not Sunny Isles. You're in Hollywood.
Hallandale.
I always make the mistake.
I know.
Hollywood,
like
Hallandale.
Yeah.
They're very close to each other.
You can make a mistake, but the people that live in Sunny Isles will let you know that that's a big mistake you're making.
I have been several times to Sunny Isles.
Yeah.
And I realized on many perspectives how much I do not fit in.
No, neither do I.
First of all, I think you need to bring like blank statements to kind of like cross some sort of imaginary
Well, first
line.
of all, as soon as I say, it was like, oh, you're in Sunny Isles and I'm in Hallandale, there's a big difference because as soon as you tell them, like if they're in Sunny Isles, you're like, oh, I'm in Hallandale. Oh.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You didn't make it?
Why did you go there? What happened? And I was like, oh, we hit up on some hard times. I'm like, I don't know. That's the maintenance that I could afford. Is that okay?
So you're in a building.
Yeah.
Your
it's a nice building.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do.
They like it. But it is transient. Like my daughter will make a friend and then like next week they're gone.
That's a thing about
It's a
Florida.
Transient thing, yeah.
But not where I'm. Like I'm in suburbia.
Everybody says Florida's two things. It's the state of divorce and it's extremely transient.
I never heard the divorce thing.
The divorce thing is big.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe not in Boca. You guys are a little more suburban. I don't know. That's what I heard. I did hear that.
Maybe it's this whole swinging culture that everyone talks
Oh,
about.
the pineapples?
Yeah. I talked about that one time, and I really fucked up once because...
I didn't see any of the sponges or the pineapples anyway.
What's the sponge?
There's also like the sponge, the loofah. If it hangs on the antenna of the car, I said, who the fuck has an antenna in the car? Isn't that 1984? Who has an antenna hanging off of their car anymore? What year is this? Everyone has a plastic Tesla, and it's all done. Who has an antenna? Oh, you never saw the sponge? I'm like, no.
I was told, first of all, you can't call people swingers anymore. Maybe it's part of the cancel. It's called lifestyle. So they have to be in the lifestyle, right? Is that correct? Can you clarify me on that?
I called it, I think it's like a swap meet.
And then the pineapple.
I don't care. If you're swinging and you take offense to what I say, I fucking said what I said. Like, you're a swap meet, swinging. I don't care. No. If you're swinging,
saying you're not
you
a
don't
swinger.
even, I think legally, if you're swinging, you don't even have a right legally to be offended. That is ridiculous. You're out here
I'm not
balls
speaking.
deep in all types of shit and you want to get offended? No, that's not even legal. Honestly, I think that's just fucked up. Nah, that's not even legal.
I see. I have to clarify. My mother's listening to this. I'm not talking about anything.
No, they can't. They can't. No way.
So
It's
I don't
crazy.
know if that's like a cancel thing, and I'm honestly speaking, and I do intend to have somebody in the lifestyle on the show in the short, because I do want some clarity on it. Because until I moved to Florida, I knew
When you think of a
nothing about
swinger,
this.
I know for a fact we're thinking of the same type of person.
What am I thinking of?
It's always like a middle-aged couple, right? Both of them are mediocre at best.
So like a 6.
Yeah, like a 6. Or a 4. He's like super creepy. She's doing it to keep him happy. It's
Do you know
giving like dress barn. It's giving like that color car, that like blue, that's that light, not quite personality blue, Toyota 4Runner. You know what I mean? It's giving like
I think
Harold. It's giving like a Harold and Virginia.
until you moved to Florida. Did you hear anything about this left?
No, I never really thought about these people. I know
Never.
there's a whole community here.
There's like multiples.
I know, but like maybe more in Boca. I don't really hear about it by me.
I'm not, again.
I mean, by me, there's like plenty of other shit. By me, it's all
Like
about
what?
like everybody has like OnlyFans.
Okay.
Miami's all about OnlyFans, BBLs.
What's BBLs?
You know, like the Brazilian butt lift and like everybody's plastic surgery by me.
Okay, yeah. So I see a lot of that down here. I actually had a plastic.
Everybody has that.
Really?
Yeah. It's fucked up because I'm wearing this fat, like a bubble jacket. I got to take it off and hurry up, go get it cut off or something. I don't know. I'm like it's crazy. I feel like everybody is in shorts and I'm walking around in a goose down, like a bubble Montclair, because I got to like shed it and put it in other places. It's not, I got to like reconfigure it.
So we
here.
did have a plastic surgeon on the podcast. I can connect you. I'm just joking. Like, there's
By
a
me,
lot of
it's
that
all
going
about
on.
like OnlyFans. Yeah.
Like
And,
people making a career of that.
Yeah, and like going to the right restaurants and the right spots, and that's how it is. Like more by me.
See, for us, it's not like that
Yeah.
at all. Maybe because I'm so wrapped up in a little bubble that is so centered around my kids.
You don't like go down. You don't go down that way.
Rarely.
Oh, really?
No.
What do you guys do like to go out?
We don't.
Or?
We don't go out. Our entire lives are based around making our kids happy. And,
Oh, I love that. That's me. Yeah. That's.
and then I'll say 1A to that is focusing on our marriage, because it has seen the most turbulence it's ever seen, and we've been through some shit together. And the almost 10 years we've been married, you combine all of that stuff into a small, compact 9 months. And I'll say the pre-crossing the border included some of that, where we lived in our in-laws' basements as we sold our house, not being with our kids, doing all that stuff. I'll tell you that if you have a shitty marriage and you're making such a massive move, it will get exposed, like, because those cracks in your marriage will get exposed because the move is so massive. And if you are in a good marriage and you guys are one team doing the transition like this, it'll strengthen it. But there will be a lot of friction in between, and it's usually not at fault of any one of the people of your spouse. It's just you're in a mood, you're stressed. My wife worries about the kids a lot more. I'm worried about finances a lot more.
That's how it is, I think.
Yeah, we came from like a very comfortable situation, right? I had a live-in nanny.
This man wants to come in.
Oh, it's all right. He's coming up next. So,
okay.
Look, I can tell you that I have an overwhelming majority of listeners that are just like us, right? Have young kids that have moved down, considering moving down, wanting to move down, but not sure whether they should or shouldn't. Are you happy with the fact that you made this move?
No, I'm very happy. Like, I just actually got off the phone with my mom while I was driving here, and I was telling her, I said, I could never see myself living in Brighton Beach ever again. Could I see myself living back in New York? I don't know. That's hard to say. But as of right now, yes, I am happy. I think the quality of life is very important, and you definitely have that here. I'm struggling in Broward with schools a little bit. That's a struggle. But I kind of feel like you get what you get in a red state. It's either you move out to Weston, Boca, like you are with schools, or you end up paying for private. It's just how it goes.
That's what I do.
It's the name of the game. But I am happy. Like everything else, it has its struggles. You're moving to a whole nother state. So there's that element where you're getting used to other people's way of life, and you have to be able to assimilate, and you have to be able to figure out what works for you. But generally, I think it was a very good move. I don't regret it at all. I'm happy about it. And it's a great place. It really is. Florida's a great place. It's a good place to live.
I agree.
Simona,
how can people find you to consume your content? Because I want them to be as happy as I am. And I think, like, I will follow up with you on the stand-up comedy
I'll
thing.
do it. I'll just stand up. I'm going to look into it.
I want to be
I have to look
invited.
into it.
My wife definitely wants to meet
Absolutely. So on Instagram, it's ITSSMEOG, but I do it in Russian there. And I don't translate. Everybody asks me to, but it gets lost in translation.
Of course.
It's hard to translate exactly the whole entire, like, cultural aspect.
Right.
I get Sebastian Maniscalco, the way he does it.
Right.
It's fantastic. But if I were to translate it, it's not quite that.
Sure.
but it's MEOG, ITSSMEOG.
And on TikTok?
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful and happy and a little bit like quasi starstruck. You're even funnier in person, not doing your Russian gig. Like
I am. I tell people all the time because it just doesn't. I try. I don't know. I get it. I can't.
People need to hear you. People need to hear you. People need to see you. You're the best. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take it easy.